G'day Reefers, I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Welcome to Gallery Aquatica TV. Today we have 3 exciting new products to Gallery Aquatica that we're going to be reef testing. We're going to show you exactly what they are, how they work, and what we think of them. So these are the 3 products that we're going to be looking at in more detail. First of all, we have a flipper frag rack, magnetic frag rack. We have the flipper top-down viewer for looking into your aquarium, and probably the most exciting new product that we've introduced into Gallery Aquatica recently, the Coral Essentials Coral Food. Now we're going to be trialing this one on some of the corals here, and there has been a lot of hype behind this product, so it'd be really interesting to see exactly what we think of it. But let's start off with our frag rack, so we'll unbox it and have a closer look. So we've opened up our flipper magnetic frag rack, and already it is probably a little bit more confusing than any frag rack that I've ever dealt with before, and I'll tell you the reason why. First of all, there's what seems like 2 sections, and also there's actually some assembly that I need to do. So I have to take off this plastic wrapping, protective wrapping, and we've also got these little pads, and I'm guessing that they are replacement pads for, okay, so our magnets come off. I should have done that at the start. And here we go. So these are replacement pads for these magnetic points on the wet side of the frag rack, which is probably a great thing that they come with that, because it's good to be able to keep them relatively new and clean. Now there's also plastic on the internal side of the magnet, and certainly it's an interesting looking frag rack. We've got not only do we have the holes for the stems, but we've also got these indents. So I guess what that is for, different size frag plugs, and so that they don't move around. When you've got relatively tall frags, particularly things like Aquapora or even Montipora, that sort of thing, having a stable plug is quite important. So the recess is a good idea to allow the frag plug to sit in place and just to be a little bit more stable. So I think I've done everything I need to get this, actually, so there's one of the magnets, and there's also another bit of plastic that needs to be removed. So there you go. It's certainly an attractive looking unit, and this will be the dry side. And so what this is basically like a little tray that you can put things, probably test files in here, and other things on the outside of the aquarium. But let's go put it in a tank and we'll see what we think. All right, so we're going to put our flipper magnetic frag rack on this tank here at Salisbury. Now, all right, this is a 12 mil thick glass, and that is important because obviously with the magnets you want to ensure that they've got adequate grip, and I think it's fair to say that that's a pretty good grip. I don't know how big I'd want to go up with this. We don't really have any thicker options here, but certainly with a 12 mil it's holding it well and truly, so I think that'll be perfect. Now, given that this is optional, I think that in this environment we probably won't use this dry side because we don't want it to be knocked by people walking past. If you're in a home aquarium, I think that would be quite handy at certain times, but I think we'll take that off, and definitely it's a good looking frag rack, but let's just try a couple of frags on it. So I've just put some Zoas. Probably not the best thing to go for, given that they've all closed up now. But yeah, I think it's a very good looking frag rack. And it's nice to have magnets. Most of the frag racks that we do sell have got suction cups, and they wear out and they can be quite frustrating. So I think we'll keep this one in the shop, and I think it's an excellent frag rack. So let's have a look at our next new product in Gallery Aquatica. The next product that we'll look at that's new to Gallery Aquatica is our flipper top-down viewer. And this is something that in aquarium stores, it's great to have on hand because a lot of the time you want to look down at the corals, except that the rippling at the surface makes it hard to see the corals. So we'll open this one up. We have looked at a number of flipper products in the past, and the deep sea viewer, which is a magnet that attaches to the outside of the tank, also uses this orange filter, and I particularly like that product, so I think that this will be very good as well. So this is interesting. So it's a viewer, and you put it in the tank like so, and you look down through the bottom like a glass bottom boat. And I guess the idea of this, I'm just going to take this protective plastic off. Okay, all right, this looks better now. I guess the idea is that you're able to look down at an angle through the orange filter, which gives a natural look to the corals, and particularly makes it easier to get good photos of your corals. So let's take this to one of the tanks and we'll give it a reef test. So here we go. First time for me putting one of these in the tank, and I mean, it's brand new, so as you'd expect, it's perfectly clear and beautiful, and yeah, it's actually really good. We've got one bubble underneath it, but otherwise it could not be better. And there's a lot of rippling in this tank. Oh, look at the clam. Oh, wow, that looks so good. Now I'm going to see if I can just work out how to use this filter. Oh, okay. This probably makes more sense. So looking down that way, we can actually see we've got the filter, and I guess you could probably, I'll get my iPhone out in a sec and I'll take a photo down through there and see how the photos look. I might just go to one of the other tanks. Boy, we've got some great gonny at the moment, look at that. Okay, so I'm going to try my iPhone. Got another bubble underneath. I'll just get rid of that bubble so it's perfectly clear. Another hint is to try and keep drips out of the viewer. All right. It's definitely one of the best top-down viewers I've ever used. I think that the orange filter is fairly good. It seems that the color that the video that I've just taken, it does look more realistic than a video that if I just tried to go straight through the bottom of the viewer. The blue, of course, really makes it difficult to get decent pictures of your corals or decent videos. So I definitely think that this is a product that we will use here in the store, and certainly something that reefers who are into fragging and looking at their aquarium from above will really enjoy to use. I think this will probably be something we'll put on our Christmas presents for 2023 Christmas. The last product that we're going to be featuring today is a new food by Coral Essentials. Now, anyone that knows Coral Essentials knows that it is a particularly good brand for elite reefers. Certainly a lot of the best reef aquariums are powered by Coral Essentials. So whenever a new product by Coral Essentials comes out, we always take notice. And this new food is one that really has caused a lot of hype. Now, we've sold quite a few of them, but I haven't had a chance to try this one myself. So we're going to give it a go. We have our favorite Julien's thing that we're going to use to feed this coral, this food to our corals. So let's go mix it up and see what the corals think. All right, so here we go. I'm just gonna open it up. Okay, opens very easily. I'm gonna give it a smell. Smells okay. And I wasn't sure if there was a spoon with it, but there is a little spoon, and I've got a bit of RO water here, and I think I put a little bit too much in here. So I'm not going to be very accurate with this. We do of course have a lot of corals, so I'm going to put 3 large heaped baby spoons in there. And this is the way I always mix up our coral food. I use our Julien's thing. So I do find it interesting that they put the ingredients on the packet. And so I'll just read it out to you. There's krill, red shrimp, mysis, brine shrimp, marine phytoplankton, gammarus, phytopacific plankton, rotifers, cyclops. And interestingly, it is quite green, and I guess that's for the phytoplankton. So seemingly, it's a very good mix of both zooplankton and phytoplankton. Now, you can mix this at different rates, I'm sure. They do have instructions, 1 full scoop per 100 litres into a high flow area, and that allows for broadcast feeding. I'll try that first and see if we get a response from the corals. All right, so I'll just draw up a large amount, 1 more mix, and I'm just going to put it in front of the wave makers. I'm really just going to put it in there, give them a bit of a taste. I'll put it in the other 2 tanks as well. This one returns in the middle. So it's late afternoon here in Brisbane, and I do like feeding the corals at this time. I find that they do typically give a good feeding response. I'll do 1 more over here. It's only been a couple of minutes since we put the coral food in, and it's fair to say that there's been a very distinct feeding response. And the dash are probably the first to show it. They've inverted themselves. They've put their tentacles, their feeding tentacles right out, and they're clearly sensing the food and grabbing every little particle they possibly can. And what I probably should do is come along and do a target or a spot feed on these guys with the flow off. But today it's really just to sort of see if there's any response from the coral food. And we've also had a variety of other corals that have clearly put their tentacles out. The acans in particular have very quickly put their tentacles out, as well as a lot of the other corals in our system. Now, I think really, to be fair, that it'll take me probably a few weeks before I can really give this the huge tick of approval that I think it's going to get. But I have to say, so far, the results that we've seen are very, very good. And it really does interest me, the idea that there's both phytoplankton as well as zooplankton in this coral food, and I can't think of another brand which does mix the two. So I think that when we're selling this a coral food for people that want a single food for all of their corals, or at least the bulk of their corals, that this will probably be one of the better powdered food options for people that need that purpose. So that's it for today's episode. Reef testing, 3 different products new to Gallery Aquatica. We had our Flipper magnetic frag rack, we had the Flipper top-down viewer, and of course the Coral Essentials Coral Power food. I think each of these products are very good and will be things that we sell quite a lot of in the future, especially the Coral Essentials Power Food. I'm really excited about that one. We'll bring you more new products to Gallery Aquatica on future episodes of Gallery Aquatica TV. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Happy reefing!